All right, welcome back to SoFlo TV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Jamaica police wants Tommy Lee Sparta again. Yes, another dancehall artist in Pasa Pasa with the police again. Only this one runs really deep. Let me state my disclaimer before I start telling stories and talking. Everything you hear in this particular video is information that is out there already. And if you listen carefully, you will also hear me tell you where I get this information from. I don't want nobody call up my name and then mix up and talk about SoFlo said. I am not claiming to have any inside information. I don't know anything other than information I have compiled. Some of it going as way back as 2010. All right. Now, yesterday, the St. James Police listed dancehall artist Tommy Lee Sparta as a person of interest. This is no first time go for Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee had been in all kinds of stuff with the Jamaica Constabulary Force for quite some time previously, to the point where his whole career seemed like it had came to a halt. The brother couldn't perform anywhere because they would come and shut the shows down. They would continue to make court dates every time he had a flight booked or a show overseas. So he could not even go overseas to perform. At the end of all that, his lawyers said that he was jilted out of millions of dollars, probably about $20-30 million by the Jamaica Constabulary Force because of their tactics that they were using. You know, they had claimed he was closely associated to scamming and he was a scammer, and they had also claimed that he had close ties to mobsters and gangsters in the Montego Bay area, and he had knowledge of a lot of the murders and all these other bad things that were taking place. It went on for so long that so many people started actually believing that the system was coming after him and trying to do him like how they did Vybz Kartel, simply because he's a ghetto youth, will end up getting riches and fame, and he still stays around his people. You understand? So people were coming to his defense and were saying, okay, listen, if you're going to charge him, charge him. Put your case together, get your evidence, and charge the man. Or leave the brother alone for make him go earn him money to take care of his many children that he has. Yesterday, again, in Jamaica news, he is listed as a person of interest. Tommy Lee, whose given name is Leroy Russell, is being asked to make contact with detectives at the Freeport Police Station in Montego Bay, St. James, by midday on Tuesday, July 7th. That is today. So they issued a warning, basically telling him, turn yourself in. We want to see you. We want to talk to you. Before we go talking about, say they're going to turn himself in and them not going to let him go. They're going to hold on to him again like they did before until he had to get a lawyer who filed a habeas corpus, and then them still hold on upon him until a judge actually said, listen, you guys have nothing on the man, let the man go. Or present me with something where I can say, okay, I see the evidence. Let's hold on to him. Eventually, he got out, but not before being embarrassed, to the point where pictures of him in his underwear alone was circulating in the media, standing behind bars. So them strip him down, and they took pictures, and they posted them, circulated them on the media. Right? Law enforcement sources say that the police want to question Tommy Lee Sparta regarding the upsurge of violence in the community of Flanker. Flanker has been running very hot for a long, long time, and we're going to get into that. In the past, Tommy Lee has refuted any wrongdoing. In other words, he's saying that him no badness, a music him do. why they keep on bringing his name back into this stuff. Tommy Lee Sparta is known for songs like Blessings, which is one of my favorite songs, and Under Vibes, and Spartan Soldier, etc., etc. Now, before we talk about some other stories connected to this, because name don't just call up just like that. All right, listen. These worms are what our youngs view as role models. May Almighty God help us is what Atru said. Holy Perv said, boy nah stop till him end up like Vibes Cartel or Ninja Man. Violence creates more violence. At the end of the day, the community loses. Increase the peace. Lindell McCormack said, another dancehall influencer is being accused of criminal mix-up. Don't know him, but him look sweet. Not for me, call me too old. Then the person said, him look sweet, but him eye them look dead. Darmok Tree says, what a way this man name call up. He always declaring his innocence though. But every flare up in flanker, his name is called up in it. This fellow must decide if he wants to be a bad man or he wants to be an entertainer. Otherwise, he'll end up like Ninja Man or Vibes Cartel or even worse. Those are some of the many comments that were left at the Gleaner right under the article that's published that said him need to turn himself in by midday the 7th of the 7th, 2020. Now here's my thing. Does Tommy Lee not have a management team? Is his information not public? Because when people want the artist to book him for shows and events, they sure know where to find him, right? Plus remember, Tommy Lee used to deal with Heavy D, so I'm pretty sure the police know where to find Heavy D and link Heavy D. And I'm sure Tommy Lee still has links to Heavy D, or Heavy D still has links to Tommy Lee. Did they have to publish it in the papers that they want to talk to Tommy Lee? Could they not have gone about it by going directly to him? I remember he said this before on stage with Winford Williams. The police department, them just take it and just throw it in the newspaper and just blow it out of proportion, when all along they know where to find me. They know my address. They've been to my house many times. They've conducted many searches there. Still never found anything. Yet them come back and search again, or claims that they're searching again. So they know where to find him, he says. COVID a keep. The place on lockdown. Everybody ain't going nowhere too far. So he is not hard to find. So why publish it in the papers that he needs to turn himself in as a person of interest within 24 hours? Why? Why not just go directly to the artist? Defamation of character much? Now, something in a something, people are saying, because they know where your name calling so long. Up in all them things here. Is it either A, they are out to destroy him because they really believe that he is connected to certain people and a certain type of liberty? Or is it B, he actually really is? I don't know, but something is in something. Check this out. I had to go do some research based on certain things that were said. So what I found out was that 7 people in total were shot in Montego Bay on March 22nd of 2020. That was not that long ago. Tommy Lee's daughter was one of them. His little daughter. Pick up gunshot. His daughter along with others were shot. 4 of the 7 shootings were in flanker. Flanker again, right? 4 of the 7 shootings were in flanker, to include his daughter being one of the 4. Right? 3 more were on the hip strip. Tourist area, hip strip, in broad daylight. And it is said that they are all connected. Man shoot up man, people go back, go retaliate right away. End result was 7 people shot in one day, to include 2 children, one of which is Tommy Lee's. She survived. I believe she got shot in the elbow. And the little boy that actually died from this particular incident. Now, starting out with just that alone, I said to myself, say, listen, I am no gangster. Me not go around look for no trouble, and I'm not waving a gun in the air telling anybody say me a bad man and all this. But me can tell you, say, if a gunshot reach one of my little children, them being a father of 5 as I am, if a gunshot reach one of my little picture, them, me say, I would exhaust my resources to turn over the place, if you get my drift. So, there are a lot of people who have this in their minds that he is probably in the process of turning over the place. Not that Tommy Lee is walking around personally busting shots, but that the people around him. In other words, then they're saying that he's a big young leader, or he's considered to be up the ladder, so he has soldiers and he can give orders, and he does. So the place are run hot right now, which is funny because just yesterday, Tommy Lee put out the information to social media. He posted saying we need to chill with the violence, the gun violence needs to stop, right? And he put out that shout out to Raijin King, get well sooner, all these things, and he also shouted out Shensia and her situation with her mom passing. But the fact that the day after he puts out in the media that the violence needs to stop, we need to stop with the gun thing, he himself is now given 24 hours to report to the police for questioning as a person of interest in the flare-up of the violence going on in Montego Bay. Ironic, much. Now, there is information out there saying a certain person, when named Cray, used to be very good friends with Tommy Lee, and then Cray got arrested, and then while Cray was under arrest, Tommy Lee supposedly wanted to be the Don of the area. He wanted to take over. It didn't go too well. Some man round him kill off some other man round some other man who says that that's their soldiers that got killed. The two of them, when time Cray came out, were no longer friends. The friendship break up, and they've been at war since. Warring fractions, right? But when news media entities like the Star went into Flanker, the people in Flanker said something like this, and this was actually printed in 2018 in the Star, in an article, that headline that said Tommy Lee no run Flanker resident says DJ has no influence around here. Residents of Flanker in the parish are rubbishing the claims that the dancehall artist Tommy Lee Sparta is a major influence on happenings in the troubled community. One particular person said, it's only around a Vietnam them man they have no talk. This is what a resident told Western Star. It's not like he is sponsoring football competitions or assisting needy students or helping to change the lives of anyone. He does nothing. Based on the amount of houses Vietnam has, there are about 100 persons living there, not all are flankers. The resident said, not to say the community no glad for his stardom and thing, but for hard-working people like me, we are hoping for more positive changes in Flanker. And around here, him no run nothing. He's not known to be connected like that or to be anybody powerful round here. So that is what the streets told the newspaper. All right. Now, here's the thing. This Cray name keep popping up, right? It keep popping up. So I went and I did some digging. And then I found a correlation with that. Of course, I found first that Cray was actually printed. This is information that was printed in the Gleaner. It was printed in the Star. It was printed in other Jamaican newspaper entities and blog sites on the internet that said the headlines were Flanker area leader or Don beats charges. And I went and looked into that, and it turns out that this cray person had some charges found with ammunition or in a vehicle, and found with gun a couple of years ago, left Jamaica speedily before that went to trial. Anyways, he was deported back to Jamaica. I believe he left in 2008 or 2006, somewhere in there, so I'm not reading from it, but from what I've read. So don't quote me specifically. In that time frame, he left Jamaica, turn up things overseas, and rumor has it that he was someone who controlled the area from overseas and actually is known to be that person. And people even have it to say him control the guns coming in and out and all these, him arm the youth them and make the youth them, and it's all connected to scamming as well. And he make the youth them defend him thing and all this. Well, he was deported back to Jamaica in 2018. As soon as him touched down, Jamaica Constabulary Force jumped on him with the same charges that he ran away from without facing. He took all that to court and beat all that, and that made news headlines in Jamaica itself. Again, my disclaimer, nothing said here is anything that I am making up. It is all information that is out there already that I have compiled. Me just assess something in a something. I went and looked even further. Somebody said, "So Flo, you remember that shooting that happened in Fort Lauderdale where the youth who owned the barber shop was coming from the seafood place with the girl and the man gave him about 13 gunshots? And the youth end up on America's Most Wanted list, and they ended up catching him, and I went and looked that up as well. It was a reputed, let me see. I went and looked that up, and the name of the youth was Gary Wallach. Gary Wallach was the victim, right? Tracy O'Brien Walker was the killer. Now, it was also printed in Jamaica newspaper that the street, this is what the Jamaica newspaper printed us, that the streets are saying, or the talk on the ground in the community of Flanker is saying that it's all scamming connected. So we over here in Florida, USA, we heard that, yeah, them thief some people money on runway and all, them connects with the scamming thing and man send fee. Well, I don't know if that is exactly true, but that was the talk. Mix everything up, Tommy Lee name was in it again. So even in events like those I'm saying his name come up in. Now I went and look up the people that are involved. Tracy O'Brien, man got killed coming from, mom got killed coming from church. It is said that his name in the streets was Squeeze. Tracy O'Brien Walker, people used to call him Tracy Squeeze Walker because he's known to squeeze upon the trigger. You understand? And what happened was him kill a guy named Skinny guy or Skinny. Kill him behind somebody's shop. And he, Skinny, was associated with a certain person who put out the order for the CM youth, Tracy O'Brien or Squeeze. They ended up killing his mom while she was coming from church, right? So the youth get vile. So one time you see him on video, and I don't know if y'all remember the video, but when y'all saw that video and him doing that murder on video, it is also the talk of the streets that he was defending that killing of his mom, right? But you know, when you can't catch Quack or catch him shot. All right. The victim in that is said to be closely associated with. So you see, it's one big mix-up of going. All right. I could spell it out more for people, but I would prefer people to spell it out more for me, because there's a thing going around now where there are people who are saying they have inside information and I don't want my name in it. I want my channel to continue to be one of the channels where people can say, yeah man, him tell me where him get the information from, him put out the information and him start the conversation. You see me? So Flow, no nobody business. All right. Here's my thing. All this stuff that's going on in Flanker, right, has been going on for quite a long time. I remember, and I pulled it up, April 8th of 2010, in the Gleaner, where the headline of an article was Montego Bay, breeding ground for crime. You should go read that article. All right, because it says in the era when Montego Bay was emerging as Jamaica's tourism capital, it was dubbed the friendly city in tourism brochures because of the warmth and the friendliness of the people, coupled with its many inviting world-class attractions. However, an account of debilitating scourges such as the social ills brought on by numerous unplanned communities, the emergence of powerful criminal gangs and guns and drug running, police corruption, and infamous lotto scam, the city's innocence had been severely compromised. And this was from 2010. All right. If Tommy Lee is 32 now, he was 22 then. So it's not like, say, 10 years later wouldn't make a difference because he was 8 then. He was already an adult then. I said the man involved in anything. I'm just saying maybe it's his association with certain people. And we've done this talk before where we talk about, like, you grow up around some people, they're friends from birth. Like, me have friends that we grew up together because we come from the same community. We got basic school together, we got primary school together. You know what I'm saying? We grew up together all the way into adulthood type of thing. So them turn bad man, I went the other way. But when we link up in a real life, they don't bring their badness to the table, and I don't bring my life to the table. Are just friends catching up. Maybe it's that. I want to be naive. I want to be non-judgmental. And here's the reason why I want to be non-judgmental. Because of the tactics that I've seen. Like I said before, why didn't they just reach out to his management team and say, listen, have your artist come in by 12 o'clock on the 7th. We want to question him concerning blah, blah, blah. And since a questioning is going to be going on, it may be right for him to have his attorney with him as well. Not just run to the newspaper and have the newspaper print it, Star print it, Loop print it, Gleaner print it, TVJ, CVM, everybody have it, right? Before the artist even finds out that he has to turn himself in by tomorrow. It's kind of weird to me. Not only that, but it's the amount of times, because even back then his name was calling up from 2010 till now. The amount of times they've called up his name in anything that goes on in the area, and to this day they haven't come up with proof of anything. So my question to them would be, to the Jamaica Constabulary Force would be, if this man is so much of a threat, because they labeled him that. I remember one article where they actually called Tommy Lee a dangerous gangster. So if he is seen by law enforcement as a dangerous gangster, shouldn't it be that they should get their stuff together as far as their proof? I don't know if you have to go send some people undercover, infiltrate them movement if there is one, all this other stuff. But whatever you have to do, surveillance, spy, however you have to do it, compile your proof and then grab this man, hold him there, put him through the system and apply pressure legally. That means if you're found convicted of any wrongdoings, then you go serve your time, right? But instead of all this media hoopla, so sometimes I actually really think that the police work with the artists them. No, this is me thinking outside the box. Because why can't they have anything stick to him? If I couldn't have something stick, it's just like the youth were called sheep all the time, or called wolf, rather. Wolf, 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 and the whole neighborhood came out to help him to save his sheep from the wolves. And when the neighborhood came out, there was no wolf. Wolf, wolf, wolf. He did it again. There was no wolf. The third time he did it, there were actually a pack of wolves. But the people by this point are saying, listen, you always doing that false alarm BS, calling out wolf, have me running out my bed to come help you save your sheep from the wolf. And then there was no wolf. So I'm staying in my bed because that's probably what you're doing right now. when in fact this time it was actually a real cry because there were real wolves. So I say that to say this. The people in general are probably tired to hear the same thing and see the same headline, but the JCF is not producing any result other than accusations. And accusations on top of accusations, right? My advice for Tommy Lee, though, would be move with your lawyer. From the minute the day one is move with your lawyer, right? And if you are around certain elements, there might come a time in life. Now might be a good time. Or in his case, should have done it before, take away yourself. But I must put this out there in his defense. He has moved out of flanker over 8 years now. And him name still a call in everything that goes on there. Is it true that there is some kind of war going on between him and this Cray person? Is it false? Is it true that he wants donship of the area, or is that just more street talk? Is it true that he is involved with criminal elements, shielding criminal elements, financing criminal elements with his money from his music stuff? Or is that all a part of the story they're building? Because you remember, when them go crucify you, they normally demonize you first. You can't crucify a good person. There's going to be an uproar. You have to demonize the person first before you crucify them. That way, when you crucify them, everybody can say, yes, good riddance. He was a nuisance. But in Tommy Lee's case, it's different, right? Also, what don't sit good with me is the fact that his daughter was just shot. Now, is this a case of him playing it up in front of the media by saying, listen, I only do music. I'm not into any of that other stuff. Don't mix my name in them thing there. And even though my daughter got shot, I don't want no retaliation. I just want the gun thing to stop. Because that's the message he was pushing. While behind the scenes, I'm just shooting a scenario out there for you. While behind the scenes, he's hell-bent on revenge. And really a stir up and turn over the place. Is that the picture they're trying to paint for us? When ending this video now, I'm going to ask you, the audience, do you think that Tommy Lee is guilty of any of what he's being accused of? Or do you think that they're just out to get him? And I could go deeper, because church and state, Jamaica is a churchical place. So you can't call yourself Uncle Demon. And you can't put forth any kind of demonic energy or vibe and expect that the churchical people who actually help to run the country won't be feeling like he's a devil we have to cast out. I saw the picture where the Gleaner posted the cartoon with Vybz Kartel behind bars, and they had the 666 as his prison number, and I thought, wow, everybody is battling for the minds of the youths, right? And I remember one prominent individual said, if we did not put Vybz Kartel in prison, we would have no school system left in Jamaica. That is how much they blame him for everything the youths were doing wrong, and felt like he was the devil incarnated and they needed to contain him. So now that they have him behind bars, they have the newspaper put out pictures of him sitting behind bars with 666 as his number. We all know what 666 means in our culture, right? Especially to Christians or religious people, 666 is the devil's mark. So the devil has been contained then. So they're battling for the minds of the youths. So don't take it so simple when you see an artist come push demonic vibes, demonic energy, or whatever, call himself Uncle Demon, and do a lot of darkness. When for Tommy Lee, in his defense, he was creating a whole new genre of music. Within dancehall, he would be the creator and the owner of Gothic dancehall. But them no see it so, because heavy metal, rock and roll, and Gothic music for them is devil worship music. and they don't want it on the island, right? So could they be possibly setting him up, applying pressure to demonize his character over a period of time? That way, when they finally pin something on him, everybody is going to say, aha, finally them get him. A years now them after him and couldn't catch him. See it now? Them have him. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let's talk about this one. It's SoFlo TV, and we're going to stay close to this one to see what the outcome will be again. I'm out. I'm going to walk good.